All right, hello everyone. We are starting our seminal first podcast ever. Never done one of these before. Everybody's done one, it appears. And so why not us? And so we're going to see how often and how frequent we can do this. We're going to try for once a week, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. Who knows? We've got to make sure our producer, George Vasquez. George, say hello.
Hi there. How's it going?
Yeah. And what did we decide? You're the color man, Marty?
I think a sidekick, really.
Sidekick,
Yeah.
Marty Galando, also known as Andy Richter.
I wish.
Guillermo, or maybe George is Guillermo, I don't know. So anyway, so why Fortitude? You know, I had this professor in college. His name was Larry Tempe, and great man. As of a couple of years ago, he was still alive. He reached out when we ran for the United States Senate, and he was up in his years, but he was a political science professor. Of all subjects, he taught me Middle Eastern politics. I went to the United League of Nations in college, you know, where you go and you represent a country. We represented Qatar, and it's really pronounced gutter, you know. Most people say it's Qatar, it's really gutter. And he, just a wonderful guy. Nevertheless, Larry Tempe once told me he loved LBJ. And he said, the greatest president this country has ever had was Lyndon Baines Johnson. There was a but. He said he didn't have the testicular fortitude to get us out of Vietnam. So I wanted to call it testicular fortitude, but these guys wouldn't let me.
That's right. Yeah, vetoed.
Yeah, it just wasn't in the offing. And so here we are, fortitude. And it's important because fortitude is not just about strength, it's about pain. And we're going to talk about that in different shows, and we're going to talk about what we have been through in our years in public office. It's been quite a ride. We're still in public office. We still got a few more years to go. But rather than to tell you what the show's about down the road, who we're going to bring on, who knows? We're just going to get into it today because we are in a shitload of pain in this country. We are in a lot of pain. George, I was telling Marty that we made the San Antonio Current. For those of you that don't live in San Antonio, that is our, it's not our main newspaper. What would we call it?
I think it's called an alt weekly or something like that.
Alt,
it's just like an
alt
alternative
weekly.
Yeah.
We made the San Antonio Current today, which is not our first time, but it was on our latest tweet, if that's what we still call them, posting.
I still call them tweets.
So we decided we were going to have this serious talk on Iran, and we're going to talk about that. But we first have to answer to the 1 or 2 people that said, oh, you shouldn't use vulgarity. And what was the vulgarity that I used? I said, chinga tu madre, Trump, which, you know, quite literally is go screw your mom. But Marty and I started having an etymology. Is that the word?
Yes.
Etymology?
Not entomology, but etymology.
Etymology. There you go. What is entomology?
The study of insects.
Yeah, no, definitely not that.
Not quite.
Marty's smarty pants.
Yeah.
And so we decided to talk about Chinga tu Madre just a little bit, just for fun, because I didn't really want Donald Trump to go screw his mom, who's now dead, who I'm sure beat the shit out of him, or maybe not enough. What do you think?
I think that she didn't, but Fred Trump probably had a rough relationship with his father, I imagine. So.
Yeah, well, I'm not making any excuses for this guy.
Yeah.
He is the largest, biggest asshole, piece of shit, worst president this country has ever had.
That's like Millard Fillmore erasure, but yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah, even Rutherford Hayes.
Yes, that was a terrible one too.
Right, just bad stuff. Yeah. And this guy's continuing to screw with us, and I say us directly because each day is just more and more and more chaos with no plan. And so the original Chinga tu Madre quote was complaining about my diesel fuel costs. Do either one of you know why diesel is, so gas went up, right? And across the nation, people are saying it's $3.50. We all know in California it's like $7 because they don't have refining capacity as much, or what is that?
I think it's both supply and demand issues, right?
Yeah. So who knows? But diesel, what's the story with diesel? It went up $1.30 in a day.
So I imagine, and I don't know, but I imagine it has much more to do with the supply chain in the sense that diesel, there are probably fewer diesel for refineries. So any kind of constriction on supply is going to affect their price more rapidly than it would for, I guess, normal petroleum. But I don't know. So
yeah. So hopefully this is a show where we actually tell you a few things. Some things we really don't know shit about. And if anybody wants to chime in down the road, we're not live. Maybe someday we will be. You can tell us why in the world diesel shot up like crazy. So my diesel truck went up an additional $30. I'm now paying over $100 just to fill up the diesel pickup.
that's crazy.
That's RV money.
Isn't that crazy? It's like an RV.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and so I was thinking, what am I going to do with this thing down the road? So I pull trailers with it, my construction gig. I'm a lawyer. I'm a Texas senator. I'm an immigration lawyer. I run a company down on the border. My wife and I are entrepreneurs. We bought a funeral home. That's kind of weird. But in all that stuff, it sounds entrepreneurial, but we struggle just about everybody else. I have like 3 jobs just to make $250,000, and we're trying. But we all want to make it in America. But I wanted to have a discussion with you guys on why this guy is dead set on none of us making it in America except for him, because there's not one economic policy that I can point to that makes any fucking sense. And this last war piece just makes no sense. So take it away.
I have a fun idea on that. Oh, hello.
You put Iran from the flock of seagulls on again?
Yeah. No, my fun idea on that one is that he's trying to collapse things, that all these tech bros are trying to collapse all these different markets so that they can scoop them up on the cheap. And just basically they don't care if they bankrupt all of us as long as they own all of it at the end of it. And whether it's, media acquisitions or, gas tanking and people not being able to afford the basics or anything like that, the less that you have, the better price they get it for, right?
Right. They just go buy all the shit up on the cheap. Mm-hmm. Like if we can't afford it, and all the guys in the middle that are out there trying to create jobs. I mean, I have a few employees here in the office. I have a few employees in just about every business we run, and we're trying, but it's hard. But these billionaire types, they're just kind of waiting to gobble up. That was really Trump won, wasn't it?
No, I think that George may be right, but my ultimate question is what's the final analysis of it, right? So you scoop up all the industries. You still need consumers to buy things, and you still need to have people who work things. And I think it's actually a darker purpose. I think they just want us all to be worker bees, all for them. And that's ludicrous. It sounds crazy, but I don't know what the end of AI plus buying up all the industries would be, other than to have us just be fodder for an economy that doesn't serve our interests, but theirs. And I think it's reversible, but it's still very dangerous.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit in a minute about how this guy has kind of turned the United States into Latin America, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I got to get back to the etymology thing, sure. Chinga tu madre. That doesn't, yes, it means go fuck your mom. But, it's kind of like son of a bitch doesn't mean I'm calling your mom a bitch. It's just like, ugh, I hate you, you bastard, yeah, right?
Well, pendejo doesn't mean you're literally calling somebody a pubic hair, right?
Right. Well, that's true. That's right. It was I said butthole. He's right.
It's a pubic hair. Yeah.
And cabron means goat, but it's more serious in Spanish. So, go fuck yourself, Donald Trump, because you fucked me at the fuel pump. And you fucked us at the grocery store, and avocados are expensive, and limes are expensive, and meat is more expensive. He always does this Joe Biden comparison. Every fucking thing is more expensive with this guy. You notice that?
Yeah, I think it's true. But he also says short-term pain for long-term gain.
Yeah, horseshit.
And it just there's been no gain ever.
Yeah, chinga tu madre. That's what I say. Go fuck yourself.
Well, there's been gain for him and his friends.
That's true.
Not for us.
Fair.
Right. And so, where were we on this thing? I mean, this guy has turned this American presidency into this fucking theft. And it's just constant thievery. And it's the plane from I guess it was Qatar, or who was it? Who gave us the plane? Who gave him the plane?
It was Cutter.
Right. Qatar. There you go. $400 million plane, and then the Republicans in Congress, did they say that he gets to keep it? Is that what they said?
I think they said he can keep it as part of his presidential library, but I don't know why a library would need that. But I don't know. It's not up to me. I'm not in Congress, right?
Right.
So,
Just that's the kind of horseshit these Republicans are playing, right?
right.
And then he's, his wife's making $40 million on some piece of shit fucking documentary that was probably made with $500.
Barron Trump made $50 million on crypto.
The kid,
The kid. He
the
made.
20-year-old kid.
And so when they did that crypto, it was like I forget what it was. Before he announced the tariffs, there was a Chinese billionaire apparently who did this short. But the rumor is that Barron's in part of that. It's kind of crazy, right? So
Right.
Aren't they also making money off of
Are we not
prediction
supposed to
markets?
make fun of politicians' kids? I mean, but what the fuck? This whole family is just a bunch of dicks.
it's just, I mean, at least they're all for themselves, which I guess is the American way.
19-year-old kid is for himself. And by the way, he's the same guy that got this guy on Rogan, I think, right? And then everybody's, oh, this guy's so great. And he was just a piece of shit. I mean, he's just a piece of shit, and Rogan couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, I mean, that's up for Joe to explain, but like, it just
Well, I
seems.
wish he would.
I think he's tried to walk it back. Do you watch the show? I don't watch the show.
I'm not familiar. I have friends that watch it.
Right. What do their friends say? I mean,
I promise this won't be 3 hours long.
No, you know what? They talk a lot less about it than they used to.
that's interesting.
Yeah, like it's a little bit more like
Well, now he's kind of like, whoa, like this morning I saw on the news, what did he say yesterday? He's criticizing the war, and he's criticizing these things. And we're going to get to the war piece here in a second. But just the sheer kleptocracy of every fucking thing that Jared Kushner's doing out there, his son-in-law. Mm-hmm. They're just, they're getting hotel properties in Gaza.
Yeah.
They're getting hotel deals in Saudi Arabia. Everything is a deal, but not for this country, for himself.
Imagine if they turned that energy into lowering prices, helping Americans make ends meet. And it's just extraordinary. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we're going to give this 45 minutes or so. We don't have enough time to break down everything in one day, and so we're going to try to get to the meat of things here in a minute on this war so that we can spend the rest of our time here talking about that. But we're going to have a discussion if people want to listen to what's going on with our farmers in America, because he's fucked farmers royally. Did you tell me people are dying in Nebraska? They're killing themselves?
yes.
I mean, you got farmers losing their farms. Probably Scott Bessent is out there trying to pick up those farms, the Treasury Secretary. Little did I know that this sorry bastard has a bunch of farm holdings
Yeah.
that he leases out to big agribusiness. And where did he get them in the first place? He raided them off of Trump 1 and his whole career. That's what this guy's been doing on Wall Street, figuring out ways to fuck middle America. And yet, middle American farmers, well, you keep voting for these assholes. And so I'm a little pissed at you. And I'm a little bit hopeful that maybe one day you will wake the fuck up and have some fortitude, some fucking strength, and a whole lot of pain to understand that those people were never, ever with you. And so we'll have a farmer discussion one day. We're going to have who did better for you, Republicans and Democrats, and now Marty and Giorgio can take over that show, because Marty's going to go down this history with you and tell you who has done better for farmers in America. And undoubtedly, you will find, maybe that's the next show, because I'm pissed at you guys, because I love you. I love farmers, and I love rural America, and I campaign in rural America. I have, what are we, 17 counties? Yeah. 17 counties, only one big one, and the rest are all small rural counties. And so I campaign in rural America, but I'm upset with the way you vote, and that's pretty clear, because I constantly am advocating for your cause, and I'm constantly trying to create changes. And even in this last session, I got $100 million for farmers because Trump cut 2 programs that would help farmers, help kids in poor schools. And so we did that. Nobody knows about it. Not enough people know about it. You can read about it. You can find it. Or you can prove it. But the people that wanted to screw you were the Republicans, and you keep voting for them. And we're going to try to break down why you vote for them. I'm sure it's because somebody told you, oh, that's woke or some bullshit like that. You know what? Who gives a shit about woke? It's about putting food on your table. It has always been that, right? I mean, what is Clinton, what did Carville say? God damn, he's going crazy lately. But what did Carville always say?
The economy's stupid.
That was it. It was the economy stupid. I mean, have y'all seen Carville lately? Have you seen him lately, George?
He's looking a little rough.
No, I love the guy. Shit, I love the energy, goddammit. I'm telling you right now, and James Carville, I know you're never going to listen to this show, but I'm telling you, I've loved you forever and a day. Your wife, not so much. You know, I'm sure you love her, but, you know, the Republican, it was her Madeline or something like that?
Mary Madeline, I think.
Mary Madeline. Yeah. But love is love, and we're not going to get into that. James Carville's wife was a Republican consultant. That must have made life real interesting at home for those two.
There's a documentary about it. It's a pretty great documentary.
Yeah, that's right. And so, but he's going crazy on Trump, and God damn it, we need people to go crazy. And who better to do it than James Carville? But back then it was, you know, he summarized it in that one-liner. It's the economy, stupid. And the whole campaign was, this is what this election is about. And that is farmers, what your life is about. It's not about religion. It's not about who your neighbor's screwing. It's not about what other bullshit. It's not about who aborted who. What else? What other bullshit do they say? It's not some transgender kid. What else, Marty? Come on. What books you want to burn?
Sure. Yeah.
What else they want to do? The 10 Commandments in school. Who gives a shit, honestly? I mean, really? Really? It's about putting bread on the table. And when you can't do that, you're in a lot of pain. And we have farmers in Nebraska that are resoundingly taking their lives. And farmers across this country that are taking this highest rate of suicide in the nation. We are going to have a farmer day because we have done a lot in that space. And we're going to talk about it, but I don't want to spend the rest of our 20 minutes, I guess, right? Talking about that today. We'll talk about that on the next show. Because I think it's so important that everybody in rural America understand that Donald Trump doesn't give 2 shits about you. Latinos on the border that went the other way, what was the percentage, George, last election? Marty?
I mean, he won Stark County, he won Zapata County, he won, I think he won Cameron County.
And all that changed in this primary, right? We saw a big push in the primary, but that's not really a bellwether of anything until the November election.
I think it's a bellwether or something, right? So I think that people forget that while Stark County voted for a Republican president, they voted for a Democratic sheriff or a Democratic county judge. It's just a different kind of election down there, right? The local elections are hotly contested, Democratic elections, and the primaries especially. And so it's just a different, it's a more complex picture, right? And I think there's a lot of enthusiasm, and I think that we should take all information, put it in the grinder, and see what comes out. So
I think we're going to have a big day in November. I think that, Latinos along the border, you're figuring it out. He deported your primo or your primas, your cousins. He's deporting your nanny or your maid because he doesn't give a shit. Because that's the other thing that he told you, right? It's the immigrants are responsible for it all. That's horse shit. This country is built on the backs of immigrants. My father was an immigrant. We're going to talk about that some other day. Tell that story in some other day. We're all sons and daughters of immigrants in some way, maybe 4 or 5 times removed. But nevertheless, this is what this nation is. It's not a melting pot for nothing. It's just we have to have this conversation that's more than just hitting the hits. And so now I got to just talk about Iran a little bit. I want you guys to talk about Iran with me and help me out here. So a lot of people are talking about how this is a good thing. And I think there's a lot of confusion here, right? Because this guy, I don't think let me take that back. Nobody's saying this is a good thing. Most people are saying it's bullshit. But we've got a lot of Iranian Americans that were pleased from the initial thing. But I want to be very clear. I don't think that this guy's set out any objectives. Give us a little history on Iran, Marty. Going back to the Shah, going back to the kingdom, when you had kind of a Western democracy. His eyes got really bold. He's like, "Oh shit, you're asking me the history of Iran? Come on, dude, you're the computer."
So my understanding, it's limited. So before 79, there was a Shah. And I think his name is Pahlavi, is his last name?
Yeah, something.
And he was a pretty pro-Western monarch for Iran. And I don't know if they had a parliamentary system. I'm sorry, I'm ignorant about the governmental structure before the revolution. But he was, I think, trained in English schools and spent a lot of time in Europe. He was very pro-Western. And so, but I think, honestly, the problems with Iran predate that, right? Wasn't there? I mean,
look, you've got everything in the Middle East, goes back thousands of years. We get all that. But modern history, we had in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we had a kind of pro-Western. And, a lot of people are going to get me on the dates, but we had a pro-Western government there. My Iranian friends that now live in the United States, have shown me pictures of themselves and their wives, going to the beach in bikinis. There was no, what is it, the burqas, or there was
no coverings.
No coverings of sorts. I mean, they'd go to discos just like we did, or I guess we don't call them discos anymore. What that's
we don't call them discos at all, right? But yes.
Well, we did. Maybe.
You did, maybe.
Maybe I did.
He's a little older than the rest of us.
They had discotheques.
I was a kid when disco was around. My brothers, I would watch them get ready. And I had brothers with these big handlebar mustaches, feathered hair, and they would blow dry their hair, believe it or not.
It was just
so weird.
Very Saturday Night
fucking
Fever.
weird. And they would blow dry their hair. They're probably listening, if they ever listen to this shit. That was my, I remember as they got ready, they had their big hi-fi stereos, and you would listen to Run Like the Wind. Who sang that song?
Was it Bob Seger?
No, it wasn't Bob Seger. Run like the wind.
Oh, wait, sing it more, please.
No, come on. Do. You don't remember this one? Somebody out there.
I was a child. He wasn't born.
Someone's got a phone. Google that shit. Run Like the Wind. Something about going to the border to Mexico. That's the Iran I remember. No. I was never in Iran.
It was Christopher Cross, by the way.
Christopher Cross. Hey, a San Antonio guy.
Yes, sir.
Did you know that? No, you didn't.
No, I didn't know that, but I really love Sailing. It's just
Sailing.
It's a magical song.
Dude, Alamo Heights High School.
Wow.
Google that shit.
He's an 09er.
Google that shit.
Wow.
He's from San Antonio.
A mule.
I don't know if it was Alamo Heights, but he's still around. It's probably like 85.
We're going to take an applause break for San Antonio real quick.
Oh, God. We're like really professional, man.
Yeah.
So Christopher Cross, was he from San Antonio?
San Antonio, Alma Heights.
All right. So I was not in Iran, but when I got ready, that's what it was. So I'm sure that people in Iran were listening to Saturday Night Fever and watching John Travolta and doing all those things because many of my Iranian friends tell me that's the way it was.
Yeah.
The Shah they have this new regime come in.
Thanks, CIA.
Yes, yeah. The Ayatollah comes in, and there are these religious clerics, and they're like, well, wait a minute. And to the extent that none of us are experts in this, they just claw everything back, shut the doors. Women, you go out and you cover yourselves head to toe. You can't drive. You can't do so many things. And that is what the subsequent thing that happened in Iran. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of experts to be able to talk about that. And so in the most recent history, we have seen them murder so many people, what they call dissidents, what we call protesters, that want freedom and want democracy. And that's what we've all seen. And so to that end, is it good to do what this asshole Trump did? Sure it is. But that's not why he did it. It's just not why he did it.
Well, and who knows what good's actually going to come of it, right? Like the Ayatollah's son took over. It's just second verse the same as the first.
Replace one asshole for another.
Sure.
Yeah, for the younger version.
And we've done that before all throughout the world.
So what's it about? What's he doing?
I don't know. I mean, his first explanation was, well, I had a feeling that we were going to be attacked because Israel was going to attack Iran, so we might as well go all in together, right?
Right. They were going to shoot first.
Right. And I think that the least we can expect from a president is to speak in one voice. Here are our goals. This is why we're spending the money. This is why we're risking American lives. And I haven't heard an articulated objective yet that says, here's how we get in, here's how we get out, and this is what we're trying to accomplish. And until that happens, I think it's a failure, and a dangerous failure.
But it's really fucked up. It's fucked up. You go in there on day one and you kill over 170 kids, little girls. I mean, I can't imagine that carnage. And, we, the three of us, witnessed, not firsthand, not in that moment, the carnage of Uvalde, Texas, but we sued the state and got, all the information, all the hard drives, a hard drive, this 2 gigabyte hard drive bigger than this phone. And we've seen all of the carnage and we've seen all of that, and we're going to save that for some future gun talk down the road. But I can't imagine what the kind of carnage of bombing a school full of young little girls and this piece of shit, Hegseth. I mean, this motherfucker's crazy. I mean, you see him?
I did.
What did he say, George, the other day? I mean, just no morality, no rules. What's he saying?
He finds the quest for morality through war distasteful. I think that's the headline from the New York Times today, that how did Pete Hegseth lose faith in morality for war, right? Or something along those lines. But it's also like video game ideology, right?
Because, he's not really, I mean, this is not fair for me to say, I guess, because I've never been a soldier.
Right.
And he says, well, he was a reservist.
Yeah, I don't know what his history was.
So if you read that article, he's a reservist. He goes in to Iraq and he gets sent in to a village post, kind of the fighting. And he's there to basically, pick up this village and do all the logistical stuff and just kind of bring back democracy and so on and so forth. And I don't want to take that away from anyone, even a fucking prick like Pete Hegseth, right? Because he's a fucking prick. And I'm sure that every admiral and general and captain and colonel and major and sergeant and private and you name it in our military every day thinks to themselves, what a fucking prick. First off, I've talked to many that have told me this guy is just on another fucking planet.
it's the privilege of like liking how things look, the aesthetics of how things look, rather than what things are. Caring about style over substance. And I think it's a classic for the whole Trump administration. It's like,
Doing push-ups in the airport.
right, we care about how things look, not what things are. And that, I think America can deal with that. We're very commercial, we understand that. But when you bite into a marshmallow, it's empty, right?
Yeah.
And people eventually come around to realizing that things are hollow. They may look good on the outside, and I dispute whether they look good or not, but when you are constantly fed nonsense and hollow untruths, eventually it's got to turn back on you. It just has to. It happened to Bush, it happened to LBJ, it happened to other people. It's going to happen to these guys too.
Yeah, and those dudes were, well, maybe not Bush. I mean, LBJ was a substantive person,
Sure.
a substantive leader, a thoughtful leader, brash as fuck for sure, and he got things done, and he pushed his will on people, and he imposed himself on Congress in a tremendous way.
We had the majorities. Let's not forget. There's like
Well,
three.
yeah, I get it.
I mean, he had giant majorities. So.
But I try not to put Bush, and my point is I don't think I'd put Bush and LBJ in the same.
No, but they were both affected by the same problem. They kept on telling a lie about a war, and it ultimately undid both of their legacies.
Yeah, it goes back to didn't have the testicular fortitude to get us out of Vietnam.
The least we can expect from our leaders in a time of war is some measure, some quantum of the truth. What's the truth? What's happening?
Right. And so I think that what we try to do today is come up with some idea that what we're doing here is simply trying to tell the truth to people in a real way. And so I don't know how much time we have left.
We're at the 30-minute mark.
All right, so we have a few more minutes. And we just got to get in whatever little bit. Maybe this is just therapy. Maybe I just like to hear myself talk.
No, come on.
Oh, everybody listening to this podcast wants to hear you talk.
No, come on. I don't think so. But and I'm not arrogant enough to think that we're... Well, I guess I'm naive enough to think that we can make a difference.
I believe that the American people can come together and change things. You have to believe that in government.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in public office now for almost 20 years. Actually, longer, city council days, now 21 years. And I feel like, and we've done some really cool things. And we can talk about those things down the road, not today. We really have, and a lot of politicians, a lot of public servants have done some really cool things throughout the history of the United States. Even the most, unknown character out there, has done something for a constituent somewhere. And so, but we are really a nation in trouble right now. And so it's my hope that, I guess that's the naivete, is that hopefully that maybe we can change something, change a mind, have people think, and actually ask the same people that I just said I was upset with, which was our farmers and our rural folks that seem to vote with the other side so much, is just read. Don't take my word for it. You're not ever going to see this podcast anyway. But, fucking read. Scratch at the surface and don't listen to Fox News or even the news on the left. I mean, read for yourself. You can figure this out. This whole thing in this war has now cost, where are we at now as of today, 11?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think it's $1 billion. It was $864 million a day, but we spent $5.6 billion on ammunition alone, which is a mind-boggling number.
All right, so gas is going up.
Correct.
Everything will go up as a result of that.
Has to as a consequence.
Anything that travels somewhere.
Correct.
The fruit on the train, the fruit on a bus, the fruit on a boat, the car that gets made in Mexico and finished off in the U.S., everything is going to go up.
Electricity.
And
Yes.
Your utilities are going to go up.
Right. This thing ends tomorrow. Gas doesn't go down for several months.
I think that's correct. That's likely.
Right. That's what I'm reading every day. And so maybe this fucking president doesn't read.
He definitely does not.
You think?
Yeah, he only watches Fox News, skips through like The View. I read something on Twitter about a gorilla channel that he likes to watch.
Awesome.
I really don't know if that's true, but it was entertaining.
He's going down the rabbit hole. George, rabbit holes.
It's my job.
I'm not going to comment on that because that is not your job, George.
My job is to know what is going on social
doing
media.
more than that shit. This guy has to understand what he's doing to America, and the upside of this thing, there is no upside, is that, we're not, it doesn't matter. You finish this tomorrow, you've just destroyed us for the next 6 months or longer.
I mean, it makes everything more risky too. So the markets right now are, highly variable, right? But at some point, some important market index is going to miss a quarterly report. They're going to miss a quarterly estimate, and that's going to send things in a spiral. I think we're at a very dangerous point in our economy, and I don't know. I don't do a lot of money stuff. I'm not a smart money guy, but I just know that things seem unstable. And that's
Well, dude, you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to call that dude in. When we were campaigning, we were in Amarillo, and we met this brilliant man. And Marty I put him on the phone with him, and I forget his name. Anderson, I think his last name was. We got to call Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, get them on here.
Get him on the show. Is it Anderson? Were you there?
I'll get you the name.
No, I don't think I was there.
I say his name was Anderson, last name. The dude was so cool. And he was this brilliant economist from Amarillo, Texas. And as boring as all that sounds, he put it all in a perspective where he showed you, and this is a rural guy, he showed you how Democratic presidents did better in the economy for the last 100 years than Republican presidents.
And it makes sense, right? So when you have a progressive tax structure, more people have more money in their pockets.
Right.
And when you have a progressive tax structure, owners face the choice whether or not to take the money out of the company or put it back in. And Democrats want owners to put the money back into the company to create jobs, create wealth. And Republicans want them to take it out, essentially, right? I mean, that's the idea.
Take it out, give it to their friends, keep it,
Yeah, keep it
put
forever.
it in trust,
Put it in a trust forever.
whatever the fuck they do with their money.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
They don't, there's no trickle down, it's all horseshit.
We're very middle class in this podcast, right? So I don't know. It's been true my whole life, at least my whole life. And I'm a Generation Xer, late Xer, and whenever there was a Democrat in office, we had money, and when there was a Republican, we didn't. And I was raised by a single mom who was a salesperson.
Yeah.
So
3 dudes that really don't know shit. We know what we read every day, but we do read, and we're all in some form. Listen, I went to an engineer's office today because he's going to help me design some stuff for 4 houses we're going to try to build in East Texas. And he's like, man, I have 7 employees. I can't afford them. I know what that's like. I mean, here at the law office, I know what it's like. You're just trying to keep people on board. And you're really literally paycheck to paycheck. And sometimes you don't get paid to make sure that everybody else gets paid. And so he's telling me, man, this war just like in 2 weeks it dropped off from 6 months, actually a year that already had dropped off. Construction in the Sun Belt, heavily dependent on immigrants. And He says, my developers aren't giving me work because there is no more work. The home builders, a lot of small guys like me, just trying. Because that's kind of the thing, right? You don't stop trying. Like fortitude is the notion that you're in pain, but you got to keep going, and you got to have the strength to claw yourself up and to keep having that inner fiber to try and survive. You fuckers that voted for this guy don't realize the first 4 years were a fucking mess.
They were.
And somehow you wanted that shit back.
I mean, even before COVID, things were crazy. I mean, the economy was functioning at a fairly high level, in all honesty, but it was still just absurd government. It was like government by schmucks. And you couldn't trust anything that anyone said. People forget this, how crazy the first year was with all the crazy things Trump said and some of the crazy things he did. And everyone says there's this narrative about guardrails. They prevented him from doing terrible things, but he still did a lot of medium terrible things that hurt a lot of people.
Right. And the guardrails were just kind of like adultish Republicans, like Mark Kelly and, the Exxon guy and
Rex
Tillerson and Bolton. Really kind of douchebag dudes.
Yeah, 100%.
That we should all be thankful for the douchebags back then, because God knows how horrible it would have been. But now we realize there are no guardrails. I mean, fuck, it takes this dude almost 14, 15 months to fire the crazy lady that's fucked up the restaurant industry, the food processing industry, the construction industry, the manufacturing industry. Yes, Kristi Noem fucked all that up. Along with, Trump at his directive to go after every migrant in America. They are fucking with our economy in ways that we cannot explain, and we're going to talk about that on some subsequent show. But they did all of that. And here we are. And there was no guardrails there. And she stole a bunch of money too, and we're going to talk about that.
It's just $200 million.
That's it. But no notion of where we're at. So what's going to happen? I mean, how do this guy undo this Iran thing? I mean, what happens next?
I mean, I think we're in a tough spot, if I'm being honest. Like, if you stop doing it, like you say you stop tomorrow, I think you reify what happened before. It's just going to be the same thing that happened before, right? It's still going to be a threat to all regional partners that we have there. It's still going to be a national threat in some regard. It's also going to be a domestic threat for us, right? So we still have that problem. Whatever we're doing right now is not solving that problem, right? So, and if we don't continue without objectives, we have no place of where we're going, right? What are we supposed to be trying to accomplish with spending nearly $1 billion a day and losing American lives? And I just can't imagine, with each new day, there's going to be more destruction of oil infrastructure. There's going to be more destruction of our regional partners in the area. It's going to affect global international trade relationships, and also our...
We fucked those up already, though.
Right, that's fair. But also our diplomatic trade relationships. And the part that I think that's scariest for me, and I'm a little histrionic, I'm more of a domestic policy person, but when we engage in these kinds of conflicts, it just makes everything we do much more riskier, much more sharp. Every error will be amplified. And if we make another error, it'll have global consequence. That's the problem with war at this level, with a nation the size of Iran, right? So I think we're in a very dangerous position, and I don't think we can unwind it very easily. And the least we can expect from Congress is to do something. Hold him accountable. Have a hearing. Demand more.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that's not happening. We're in some deep shit, people. And farmers, I keep going back to you. You're fucked the worst. $11 billion, that could have gone to you because he screwed you on tariffs, because you can't sell your soybeans to China, because he gave 20 billion to Millie down in Argentina, and they're selling 40 billion, and they're selling the soybeans down to China. And so I get it. You guys can't say he fucked you, but he fucked you. And at some point you have to start saying he fucked you, and you have to understand it. And yes, go fuck yourself, Donald Trump, for fucking all of us in such a horrible way. So, all right, no plan, no end in sight. Tomorrow he pulls us out. Next week, he'll claim, today he's claiming victory. We won.
Won what?
Yeah, I get it.
Right. I mean, so he claims victory. He tacos, right?
Right.
And markets return to some sort of regional stability, right? We still have the same problem we had before, and it's an angrier population because of what happened, right? And we've faced this before.
And here's the most perplexing thing about all this shit. And the why earlier, well, they were going to shoot us first or going to attack us first, a bunch of horseshit. I've kind of given this asshole the benefit of the doubt, but it's like one crazy thing after the next, and one weird thing after the next in this country. And so, some of which I won't get into because y'all think I'm fucking crazy. But one weird thing after the next. This cannot just be. We're not talking about Epstein if we're talking about Iran.
I mean, there's a reason it's called Operation Epic Fury. I hate to be that kind of guy, but I mean, it's the same initials as Epstein files. Right?
Yeah. So dude, you're a bigger conspiracy theorist than me.
I don't know. I mean, every day more and more people go through the files and find something crazy.
Especially stuff related to Trump.
Yes, correct.
This is like, we don't rehearse any of this shit.
Yeah, you can barely tell.
All right, I got to ask you, because I didn't know that. But so there's this TikTok out there, and we've heard it on wherever, posted, where it's not a video, it's just audio where he's yelling at his staff, "You bury those fucking files." Is that really him, or is that AI?
There's no way that's real.
I have no clue.
Have you heard it?
I have to look. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
He says, "I don't give a shit what you do. You bury them." So now with AI, who the fuck knows what's going on out there? But this guy is mentioned thousands of times in these things, and it would seem to me that it's just every day it's something to cause distraction and chaos. And you have to ask yourself in the back of your mind every day, is this sick son of a bitch just trying to distract from what's really in those files?
I mean, I can't believe that's true, right? But things can have dual purposes or multifaceted purposes, right? And all I know is that every day more people go through files and find weird things. Weird. And not just weird with the crimes, because that's terrible, but weird with the connections that Epstein had with all financial leaders throughout the globe.
Yeah, including Benjamin Netanyahu.
Correct. Today, I think I read an FBI document that suggested that Netanyahu was a spy and had a connection to Dershowitz, who had wanted to be a spy, and Epstein had been converted back into Mossad. Now, those are just investigatory documents, right? And I think everyone who's ever looked at an investigation file knows that there's a lot of spurious material there. But you have to wonder.
Yeah, listen, I happen to think, I was telling you earlier, and I think we called him a bitch or whatever, but I think he's certainly Trump's new daddy.
Netanyahu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Putin was his daddy, and now It seems like it's BB.
I mean, it could be like a co-parenting relationship in all fairness, right? So,
Because all this shit's good for Putin, right? On some level.
on some level, I mean, I think that petroleum shocks are not good for any nation that requires
No, the whole world, by the way, is doing this
Right.
horrible gas.
But isn't Russia allied with Iran?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I think they get a.
So they are, and you know, some expert will be watching us and saying, look at those three fucking morons.
Yeah,
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
we don't know what we're talking
I
about.
really don't.
But, you know, I was asking Marty, it would seem to me that Iran, there's no water between them and Russia. I think that you can get through there by land. Shit, we gotta look at that. Is that,
You're breaking my heart right now.
no, see, I fucked up a whole show. No, there's no, you can get through, I think they pipeline, in other
I think
words.
there's a pipeline.
I think there's a pipeline, which you can also run a pipeline, by the way, through,
I wouldn't know.
yeah. And so I think that these guys benefit in all of it. And I think that they're hurting most definitely. And yes, you can get from Iran
Through Kazakhstan,
into Asia without having to go through, you'd have to cross
Kazakhstan, right?
a bunch of stands.
Right. A bunch of the Caucasus Mountains are there, right? Too.
Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and then, you know, take a left.
Yeah.
So you get to Kazakhstan, you take a left.
At Abakoiki?
I take a left. And so when you get to Hoboken, you take a left. And so, you know, certainly you could do that. And again, we probably need to check with the experts on that. But that dude was definitely his daddy. But now BB seems to tell this motherfucker what to do every day. And is it a hotel deal, do you think?
I mean,
The hotel in the offing in the Gaza Strip?
I assume that there's always some personal family, Trump family.
Well, didn't this asshole put like his own video out there of him, you know, making it rain dollars? And didn't he say that that the Palestinians would get to work?
Yeah, they could be the hotel workers.
Yeah.
So where you used to live, where your family used to live in your home, we destroyed that with a bomb. But now you can be a maid at a hotel for us.
Dude, what did I tell y'all when that whole war started? Of course, the Palestinians was it Hezbollah or Hamas? Where they did that horrible tragedy on October 7th. And so certainly they killed so many people. But then everything that happened in the aftermath of that, in the first few months of the war of basically Israel attacking and bombing Gaza, then came this incredible clearing of Gaza. There was this New York Times picture of the northern part of the strip in Gaza, and it was acres and acres of leveled buildings, bulldozed buildings, it was just dirt, and the beautiful ocean. And so at that point, I'm sure Trump saw that same picture and said, there's my next hotel, my new Middle Eastern Riviera.
I think it's more than likely that that's true. It's more than likely.
Well, he's doing it in Bahrain. He's doing it in Qatar. I mean, his sons are out there cutting deals every fucking day.
So I understand that part of it, right? That makes sense to me. But what doesn't make sense to me is Congress's inaction, right? You're faced with like Credit Mobilier or XYZ affair or Teapot Dome scandals every day from him stealing from the Treasury, essentially stealing from Americans, and they do nothing. They do nothing. I just can't imagine if you were a congressperson, we would be running around with our hair on fire, talking about every day about how much he's stealing from American people. And it's not just the money, it's the lives that are lost.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I think we've kind of beat this war thing for three dudes that don't know shit to death. You know, hopefully, listen, I don't think we're going to go out and get regime change tomorrow. And sadly, I think a lot of innocent people are going to die, mostly in Iran. And sadly, I think more children are going to die, and more innocent people are going to die, because we have a Pete Hegseth at the helm of the Department of War, as he likes to call it, with no meter, no rules of engagement, doesn't give two shits who he kills or what he does. Shock and awe for him. And Epic Fury, also known as Epstein Files, will continue as long as these two assholes want it to continue. And unfortunately, we're going to be at this thing for a while. And maybe we will be able to elucidate and illustrate with a little bit more, not so much clarity, but knowledge.
Maybe.
In the future. But the point of this show, I want to close with this, is that you gotta ask yourself what this man is telling you, or any president, is true or false. And you've got to ask yourself these questions, because it's your money, it's your tax dollars, at the very least. It's people's lives every day at the very worst. American soldiers' lives of innocence in Iran. And I promise you this, there is more growth when there is less war. There is more economic growth and human growth when we are not at war with each other. That's what this asshole promised us, no more wars. And that's all he keeps doing. And so until we meet again, I just hope you start thinking about how we need to have this fortitude, this strength, this inner strength, to be able to put up with this asshole for the next 8 months until November, and on for the next 2 years after that. And I hope by November we have a great day, so that we put this guy's nuts in a vice in Congress, and we have Democrats that are actually starting to say, stop, this doesn't work. You are no longer in charge. We are a legislative body, and we can create at least some stopping point to this madness. And so that's my hope. Thank you all for listening. Until the next time, see you on Fortitude.
Fortitude with Roland Gutierrez features Roland Gutierrez, Marty Galando, and Georgia Vasquez. Fortitude is produced by me, Georgia Vasquez. You can listen to Fortitude on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Streaming episodes are available on YouTube. Follow Roland on social media at Roland for Texas on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, the Everything app, and Blue Sky. Visit RolandForTexas.com to find out more about Roland. Thanks for listening.
One last thing, Donald. Chinga tu madre.